Welcome to the Mouthful, a podcast dedicated to conversation and understanding people with different backgrounds and hearing their stories and exchanging ideas that way. My name is James, your host. Today I have the beautiful and lovely Keishalily. She is a Twitch streamer and an artist who makes streams while making her art. So I'm glad to have her on.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for having me. Very excited.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much for being on. So you were introduced to me by a mutual friend. I basically berated some of my friends, jokingly, of course, but I asked them, like, is there anyone you know that is a creative or, has an interesting story you think that would want to sit down and have a podcast episode with me? And Tom, our mutual friend Tom, came back and said, yeah, Keishalily.
I know. And it's not, obviously it's not a very common thing. I guess it's getting a little bit more common nowadays for when you're doing live streaming and everything like that. But it's not a common field where you go, oh yeah, no, I'm full time. I do this full time and I draw for people on the internet and I play video games and I get paid for it. People are just like, wow.
Yes, even to actually be able to make art is one thing, but then to have an audience while you're doing so is another.
Yeah, it's Twitch. Twitch is a little bit interesting. The program there, it's not super great for becoming visible when you first start out. Thankfully, I've been doing it for about just over 2 years now, so it's been really nice. Actually, it's been quite nice. I've grown quite a community in the stream that I have. Super supportive. I only went full time about 3 weeks ago, actually, and to say it's been incredible has been like the bottom way of thanking my viewers, right? Like, they've just supported me like every single day. It's the same people that are in there, and I'm wondering how they do it because I'm live for like 5 to 7 hours. It's a job to watch me. How are they doing it?
Right. That's a question I would have. Like, how do you? I think I was talking when I was conceiving of this podcast. I was talking to my mother just a few weeks ago, and then even as we were coming back, and she was we were talking. That's when we were first talking, saying, "Oh, let's set it up." And then she said, Twitch is, to be fair, she's going to listen to this, but Twitch is pretty much beyond her, I will say, because she's from older generation. So she wondered how people could invest that much time into watching, and we said like for 5 hours. We're seeing streams that were 4.5 or 5 hours often. How do you keep people invested?
So, and that's definitely a little bit difficult. So it was hard explaining that to my mom as well too, being like, hey mom, guess what, I'm going to leave I had a 6-figure job actually when I left.
Oh my god.
It's not that worked out, so I have to come to terms with that. It's okay. But to tell my family, like, hey, I'm gonna go make videos online for the internet, they're like, excuse me? Pardon?
Right. Yeah.
But
yeah.
keeping the viewers engaged, that's just exactly it. That's like, how do you keep viewers engaged throughout Twitch? It's how you become a successful person on Twitch, is just knowing that secret. So the way that I've kind of learned how to do it is obviously just being a genuinely good person. Like, obviously you have to be a good person. There's some interesting streams that I've seen that get by not being good people, but that's besides the point. It's fun, it's games, it's community, right? It's the feel that you create in the stream. So trying to keep a viewer interacted in who you are as a person, you have to be relatable, you have to have the games happening in the background, you have to have content that other people are interested in and are going to bring into your field that you are going to remain interested in it. It's nice with the art pieces. When I'm doing the art versus the video game, I worked on a Wraith piece that took me about 50 hours on stream, but every single time somebody came back to it because it kept progressing further and further. So you end up getting a lot of the same viewers going. They'll chat for a few and then they'll leave for a bit. They'll come back and then, right? And so you just keep having that back and forth curve. So the art actually pans out really nicely. Artists aren't super popular as much on Twitch as the video game people are, though.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah.
They play a video game.
Yeah. Yes, and well, I mean but even for the gaming itself, it kind of is in a way weird to have an audience watch like this. Again, this is something my mom said quite a long time ago, but she said, like, why would people watch others who are just playing games? Why don't you just play it yourself? And it's just, and her saying that was kind of dawned on me. That was the first time I really, yeah, it is kind of odd just having a group of people watching. Oh, you're by this boss. Like, yeah, this boss is bad. Yeah, good job. Have a nice attempt, but you're gonna die 100 times. But like, it is kind of true that it's kind of a weird thing to be gaming, but have people watching and interested in that.
I guess so. The most, see, like, I don't think of it that way, because when I go into a streamer that I really like, I'm not there because of the video game. I'm there because of the person. So I'm not
Oh,
really
that's
there to
true.
watch
Yes.
the game. And like, the best way that I can refer to it is I absolutely hate anything horror. I hate horror movies. I hate horror games. I can't. I just can't. And
I'm
chat loves it.
confused. Yes, I'm confused because I've seen that you play horror games because, oh, you do it because you want to be scared and feel like you're going to die.
Exactly. And because chat finds it funny. My chat loves it. They're like, haha, Keisha's just like over there. She's wetting her pants and everything like that. She's got to go to the bathroom, right? Right? Oh my God, she's scared to death. This is hilarious.
Not a lot of jump scares, I don't think. Yeah, there hasn't been a jump scare in a while. That's been really nice. I hate games with jump scares. Who is doing research down here? Arena, robust appetite. Mahela, robust appetite. Lois, robust appetite. Ingrid, unstable. Overly alert at all times. Okay. Can't open that. Guys, don't do drugs. Yes! Ah! I gotta go pee. I gotta go pee. Are you fucking kidding me? That's it. I gotta go pee.
Right? Oh my God, she's scared to death. This is hilarious. And meanwhile, I'm dying inside, wishing I, could like. But it's just, and that's just the way it is. But so the way that I actually kind of like keep up with doing it is that, so for Twitch, the way that a Twitch content creator actually makes their money is by doing like subscribes, bits. You can get donations and everything like that. So we actually have in my stream, you have sub goals. So when we hit a certain amount of subs, we do an event.
Okay.
So what you probably ended up seeing was probably like a Resident Evil stream is the last one that I just did.
That's right. Yeah.
That was peachy. Yeah, so we hit a sub goal, and that's why I was playing that game, right? So.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, I love that you mix in. I mean, that you do have the gaming as well as artwork, and that's so people can come for both reasons, and that's awesome. I think that's just great. And I shouldn't have. I hope it didn't come across that I was like kind of denigrating what people do on Twitch. I watch Twitch as well, and I just mean like it is, if you actually think about it, sometimes it's like, oh, the person is gaming and then you're just watching the game. But yeah, you're right. That's why people come back, and you like sometimes there's times where you have a game and then you have played it and then you're like, oh, I wonder how this guy is going to react to this particular scene, right? So yeah, that's interesting that you play scary movies, because I was seeing the lineup and I'm like, I like these games. I've played these games, a lot of them, but then you hate them, so I'm like, oh no, oh no.
I hate the games, but I love my community, so I will go out of my way to make me lose hair for my community.
And it's just because of how scary it is. Like I thought RE8 was not that scary. It was like it had its really great moments of jump scares, and I don't know how far you went, so I won't spoil anything. But some things are scary. But it's
I got past and my chat refers it to as Dommy Mommy. She was that lady with the the white and the daughters, right? So we just beat the boss.
Lady Demetresque. I love her. I think
right.
she's a best. I love that everyone was
right.
I love that everyone loved her for like even way before like when the first trailers, first gameplay was coming out, everyone's just like, "Oh, mom!" Like straight streamers, straight male streamers especially, but they're like, "Oh, mommy milkers" and that type of thing. and then
They're all like, "Get ready, you're prepared to say Dommy Mommy," and I'm like, "What the hell is a Dommy Mommy?"
Dommy
And then
mommy,
she
oh
pops
my
up there, and
god!
I'm just like, "Oh, that's a Dommy Mommy." Okay,
As soon as you see it, you're like, "Yeah, that is her."
I was just like, "That's it. That's who it is."
Mask the angel's blinded gaze, and only then you will be saved. Oh, what is with the flies? You have a bug problem. Ow.
Man blood.
What the hell?
Mother, I bring you fresh prey.
You are so kind to me, daughters. Now, let's take a look at him.
Oh, damn! She is tall.
Well, Ethan Winters, you escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you? Let's see how special you
Yes, Mother.
Ew!
Starting to go a little stale.
Then let's devour his man flesh quickly, Mother.
That makes me uncomfortable!
Now, daughters. First, I must inform Mother Miranda. But later, well, there will be enough for everyone. Put him up.
Put me up? Oh my god.
Oh, careful what you wish for, Ethan Winters.
That is not how you do Dommy Mommy, right, guys? If that's your idea of a Dommy Mommy, you need help. You need help. You need Jesus. I don't remember which way we went with doors. This is not good. This is lovely furniture, though. Wow. Oh, yuck. Oh, yuck. That is so uncomfortable. Oh, yuck, 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 yuck. Oh, my God. No way did he just... Oh, my God. This makes me so uncomfortable. I'm aware I need help. I don't intend on getting any. Always go always go right. Okay, well, there's... Holy, how do you even pick up a gun after that? Look, this is lovely. Look at that furniture. My God.
They
Dommy
loved it,
mommy,
right?
oh my god.
They think that's great, and so I have sound alerts hooked up to my stream as well too. So I don't know if you have any experience with the sound alerts, but for a certain amount of bits, which is like the virtual currency for Twitch,
Yeah.
you can make sounds come out of my speakers,
Hmm.
like
And they-
screams or
Mhm.
whispers.
Ah! Yeah. God, that scared me. Theo, welcome in.
Or knob
Oh, you did that to yourself? Oh no. Why didn't you set up alerts that were screams? You're afraid of? Oh no.
It's just keep the viewers engaged, you know?
That's amazing. Oh my God, but I mean they're basically clowning on you when you're trying to trying to survive a game.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
they have like a pause count. So every time I pause a game, they'll add it to the pause count, right? Meanwhile, I'm
A
pausing every
pause
five
count?
seconds. Yeah, a pause count. So every time I put my
Okay.
pause menu up during the middle of a game, you know, you put like the start button, that's your
Hmm.
pause count. So when you get
Okay.
scared of a game and you're in the moment, what do you think you push?
Oh
The
no! Okay,
pause button.
so pause and it's like a penal they it's a penalty then. Like, oh, you were pausing but you should have just been experiencing. So you get a penalty every time you use it?
Yeah. They're like, hey, by the way, this time that you're paused, you have to keep playing this much longer.
Oh no. Oh, that's a really oh, why do you, this is like sadomasochism on Twitch. How is this allowed? Oh my God,
Like they're
that's
just they're like my viewers are like absolute. They're kind of like scary actually. They're like tanks though. Like they're like my rocks. Like if it wasn't for the viewers that I had right now, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So like the only way that I know how to make them feel good is by making me not feel good.
oh my God. I out of context that that line would be terrible. Oh my God. I think if that line was just clipped and just like played
Maybe it's a good thing I'm not live streaming this.
right. Or actually, you know what? Actually, or that could just, that's just relatable. That's just life.
Yeah,
You try and make other people happy so that
that's
it's
it.
how it works. Well, at
Yeah,
least, oh, I was just gonna say, well, at least at least you're your own boss in a way that, so you don't really have to make, the man happy. You just have to make, like you're a community happy, which is more wholesome, I would say.
yeah. The sickos in my stream, I gotta keep those suckers happy, right?
No more screaming. Oh! No! 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 Oh, shit! What the fuck? That was the only fucking way to do it! Ah! This is great.
Right?
Oh my God,
It
that's
is
so funny.
super nice though. Like it really, really is. To give up a job like the job that I had a lot of people actually call me crazy, which maybe a little bit, yeah, but that's besides the point. But to give up a job like that is just something that you can't. I don't know the words for it, but you just have to put a lot of thought into it. You don't just jump out of something like that. And it's just like you get to the point where you're just so physically unhappy with everything that you are that you just kind of decide, you know what? I think I've just had enough. No
Right.
amount of money in the world could ever make up for the fact that you were just so absolutely unhappy with your life. And
Exactly.
it's unfortunate that YOLO is so accurate, but you only live once. Like, are you
Hmm.
going to waste it? Doesn't matter how much money you are. You're unhappy. You're going to waste it?
Exactly. It's so true. I mean, you have to even think of, when people are wanting to make changes, they always think of what are the risks, and then the risks often stop them and bog them down. Like, oh, I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to be, maybe this won't work. But I mean, like, you have to do that. That's why I started podcasts. Like, who was I to start a podcast? Like, I was like nobody before this. I was just a person who had, friends, and I want to make people laugh. But I think you just have to eventually put yourself out there. And I think it's great that you decided to make that change.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. It's just, I think a lot of people are scared to come to that term, though, that they can admit that they're unhappy in a normal society job. I think that's
Exactly.
really
Yeah.
quite daunting for a lot of people. So a lot of the communities that you get on Twitch, they're once you find that niche, you just know,
Hmm.
right? Like, and it's so silly to say it like that, but it's just that's how you know that you've just kind of found it. It's just like when you're in that moment and you can look back
Hmm.
and just absorb it all in and just say, "Oh my God, you guys, thank you so much." That's it.
That's awesome. And yeah, I mean, and then also the fact that you have people with you on that ride, right? That change that you're doing, and then these people are interested in, and more people are interested. It's You're amazing. I think. Let me just move on here. So you are an excellent artist. It's like I've just seen what you do with portraits, especially because I just love the idea of bringing a picture to you, and then you just start sketching out and making this old beautiful grandma or a dog that someone once commissions you to make. How are you formally trained? Did you do this yourself?
I've not really, no. Like, so I started drawing, obviously, back, you get that story. It was back when I was your age, and my grandmother and I used to make the long trek across the land. When I was about 7, I remember being on the ferry ride from the mainland to the island, and obviously as a kid, that's like a 2.5-hour ferry ride. That's a long ride. You're like, oh my God, this is taking
Yes.
forever. And my mother pulled out an old sketchbook and a pen, and she just started drawing horses. Just right
Oh
there.
wow.
Like, just bam. And she was done. She's like, look at that, Brianna. Look at that. And I remember looking at it being like, that is the most amazing thing ever. You just perform witchcraft in front of my
Right.
face. I have to
Oh
learn how to
wow.
do this. And I remember when I did my very first drawing and I gave it back to her, she was like, Brianna, that is so good. I was like, I need more of praise. I need praise. This is nice. I need this. You're a
Hmm.
kid, right? You live off that.
Yeah.
You're like a plant.
Exactly. You definitely.
So I ended up picking up on that, and I ended up drawing all throughout my life until high school, where I was given a C minus, almost an F in art.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Oh
Art.
yeah, it was
Mhm.
great. So I ended up almost failing art in high school, and I remember thinking to myself, well, there's not really any point in doing art then if people don't think I'm doing anything good at it. There's no point in me even bothering to try. So I actually
Mhm.
stopped doing art for about 5 years. I didn't pick up a pencil for 5 years until my ex-husband actually ended up, can't remember how he found an old drawing I did, but he was like, you need some pencils. So he went out and he got me some pencils and he got me some paper, and he's like, you should draw something. And I remember drawing something and I put it on Facebook, and I had a cousin of mine reach out and be like, oh my God, that is so good. She's like, can you draw me a boat? Can you draw me my boat? I was like,
Mhm.
sure, I guess so. And at the end of it, when I was done, she's like, oh my God. She's like, it's so good. She's like, what should I pay you? Beg your pardon? I've never been paid for my work before, so I had no idea. So I actually took it to my local art store. And when I brought it in, the guy was like, holy cow. He's like, I've never seen you before. He's like, what can I do for
Wow.
you? And he's like,
Wow.
I'm like, well, what can I sell this for? I've got somebody asking me. I did this for them. What could I sell it for? He's like, you should be asking like $100 for this. And it was just a small picture of a boat. He's like, this should
Not.
be, you should sell this for like $100. So I told him that, and they paid me it. And I was like, okay.
You
Okay.
should have You should have haggled and been like, "This is at least $10,000 worth,"
Oh my
and just been
God.
like, if he didn't know you, like, "Oh, so I'm from Eastern Ontario. You haven't heard of me because I've been out there for so long, and I decided to move." And it's
Yes,
like,
I'm
and then
in the
he's like, "Oh,"
wilderness now.
and then as he's saying, "Okay, well, I'll look you up." No. The sale is right now, so you will be buying for this amount. And then he's like, "Okay, great. I'll
I was
trust you. I'll trust that."
interested. But no, ever since that though, it was great. Like, I've met Robert Bateman a couple times, and Robert Bateman was actually the person who told me to get into doing color. And I didn't know what kind of color it is that I wanted because obviously, like every artist, you start off with using pencils, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, so I went through every single medium possible. I'm telling you, I went through digital art, I went through graphite, I went through colored pencils, I went through acrylics, watercolors, oils. I went through every single thing. And I refused to try chalk. I refused it. I did not want to try it because you know that feeling,
Yeah,
you know?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Even just thinking about it, you know, your skin just starts to
Yeah,
crawl.
it does.
Right? So I was like, I do not want to try chalk. And it wasn't until about 2016, probably near the end there, where I was like, okay, I've tried everything. I'm not getting what I want.
Mhm.
I need to try chalk. It was the last thing in the store because I had also worked at that art store then that I
Okay.
went to, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I get a deal on chalks. I'll give the chalks a try. And as soon as I touched it, I was like, huh, this is really neat. I think I need to try this some more. And so I actually ended up Googling the world's best pastel artists. And an English artist named Eric Wilson popped up on Google. And if you look him up, if you look up Eric Wilson art and his pastel stuff, it will blow you away. Like, I'm telling you, like, wildlife realism to the max with chalk.
Yeah.
And so I messaged him. I said,
You
hey,
did.
my name's Brianna. I'm from Canada. I don't know if you'd be interested or not, but I saw your art. I Googled you and I actually found your stuff. I love it so much. I'm just starting to use chalk. Would you be willing to teach me?
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Obviously, though, when you send an email out like that, you don't get a response back, right? Because like somebody big like that, you don't get a response.
Mm-hmm.
He responded back in 3 hours.
Wow.
He said, hey, Brianna, that's fantastic. He's like, welcome to the world of chalk. He's like, I would absolutely love to teach you. Unfortunately, I don't have any classes planned in Canada, but I'd be more than happy to do some one-on-ones with you here in England. Here's the price. This is what it's going to cost. He's like, I have availability in January of 2017. 3 months. $15,000 is what I needed. I didn't have $15,000. So I got a little bit of funding from my native band. I'm Status Indian. So I got a little bit of education funding from them. And they helped me with that. And I actually did a raffle. We're not really supposed to talk about it too much, but I did a raffle to help with bettering the education of myself.
Right.
And I ended up doing a couple art events and selling some prints, some pet portraits and stuff like that. And in the 3 months, I actually ended up going to England.
Wow.
For 2 weeks. I was there for 2 weeks. Every day I did 8 hours with Eric.
Wow.
And did one-on-ones. And it's funny that you talk about a $10,000 piece because I have a $10,000 original of his downstairs in my in my living room.
Wow. That's so cool. That's an amazing opportunity.
It was life-changing. If I hadn't reached out, if I hadn't been able to have gone, I would not be anywhere close as to where I would be today. So like, whew.
I'm there's so much to unpack with your story even thus far. So you sold your first painting for $100? That's a lot of money. And
Yeah.
When was that?
That was probably back in 2014.
Oh wow! So money meant, what,
Money was
money meant
actually
a little
like
bit.
had a little
Yeah,
bit
it meant a little bit more.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, $100 is. I mean, I know people who are starting out and they do commissions for friends or family, and it's and I mean, she was your family member as well when she was saying who wanted to buy it first, who was interested in, and then when you went to it was an art gallery or was it?
They're like a gallery / art shop.
Art shop, okay. And the fact that you were offered that, and he was the fact that he saw that and wondered who you were is incredible, because that means like it means that he thought you would have been already known and a different level, and he's like, who, but are you from this other, like, where are you
Where
from?
did you
Just all
crawl from? What artist
exactly.
you live in?
Exactly. So it makes sense. So you actually must have had a natural talent. There's no way around that. If that was that a few that long ago, and you had surprised that many people with what you came out with when you produced it, you must have a natural talent too.
I don't know. See, I'm one of those people where, you know, all those memes you see where like, yeah, okay, they're like little comics and they're like talking about the artists and they're like, wow, how did you make this? You guys have a talent. It's like hours and hard work. They'd be like, oh, God must have given you the skill. No, it's hours and hard work, right? So like, you can definitely tell when there's a little bit of like a natural talent to be able to start something.
Mm-hmm.
But I am like firm believer that if I did not obsess, and if I probably had friends when growing up, maybe I would be as to the point as to where I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think it's a lot of hard work. I missed a regular childhood. Let's just say I was busy at home with my pencils.
That's similar. I was when I was little. I was such a nerd. I was just writing on my laptop. Ugh. Oh, those times, lovely. But it's so cool. That is, I have to, I see where you're coming from, but I think that's more humility, really, because there's people who you say that to and they're like, oh, thank you, but they're like, they might not say it, they might not accept the fact that it has to be natural. I was going to make a joke when you were saying that when you first showed your artwork to your mom. I'm like, my art now is probably what yours was then. I can literally, when I'm like, if someone asks me to draw a horse, you might get a dog.
I bet it'd be a very
I
nice
am
dog.
so bad. I'm so bad at drawing. It's like legitimately I've improved slightly since I was 14. Honestly, I'm so bad. But I mean, I can do maps. I can do things like that. I can do like some things, but I cannot write. I cannot draw like. Ugh, it's like the fingers still look like a 13-year-old draw, like less than 13. If in your case, it'd be like a 5-year-old, like. It's like, where are all the fingers? It's like, oh, those are the fingers.
That's
So
it.
bad.
Just they have 3 fingers. That's where mine started off with. They had 3 fingers. They didn't need 5. They could just grab things like this.
Right? But seriously, it's so bad. So I think you must have now natural talent, and that only proved it. Right? With what I've seen from all your paintings that I've seen, they are amazing. So clearly, the 3 months helped. And you said that for making even one painting, it does take a long time. You're saying 50 hours, about 40 to 50 hours for each one?
I can't slap the time limit. And it really depends too. So the reason why that one took a little bit longer as well is because I actually have a screen. So you're actually technically, you would be what people see when I'm at my art desk. So this is my art desk that the phone's resting on right now. Is I have a screen where I can read my chat while I draw. Chat gets very excited and very rambunctious when I draw because I pay fully attention to chat. So it takes me a really long time to get something done.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah,
Right.
but then obviously there are other times, like I did a pet portrait actually a couple days ago, and it took me 5 hours.
Oh, okay.
It was a more simple one. It was a black and white Dalmatian, but the picture had already been reverted to black and white.
Okay.
So the reference photo was super easy for me to be able to just be like, okay, well, this is how I do it.
Oh, I see. So where you need to shade in, it's pretty clear then. Okay. Yeah. Wow. I think you are amazing. Now, so you said that you had met Robert Bateman, but how did that twice? And how did you meet him, the famous Canadian painter?
So Robert Bateman every year does a like art gallery meet in
Oh,
in Campbell River because he's actually friends with one of the owners of a gallery that's down
course,
there.
of
So
course,
we
right.
actually ended up doing that. I think I saw him 4 times because he was like back to back the past few years. And I had my little calendars and everything, and I got him to sign the calendars, sign the book, Robert, please. And I actually, I really needed a signature.
Just imagining please.
I needed it.
That voice at the end was so funny. Oh my god.
I just needed it's the power to becoming an artist. It's a signature from Robert Bateman. Bugger, what was I saying? Oh yeah, no. So what ended up happening was when I did the raffle to go and study under Eric, Robert Bateman actually bought a ticket, and I have a picture of me with Robert Bateman holding the ticket for the raffle.
Oh wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard that he does that. He's a cool guy.
He's so cool.
Huh. That's awesome. That's awesome that you have that connection. And then also that you got trained by another guy who's famous. It's wow, that's awesome. It's a cool trajectory that you started on.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody, as far as I know of, in BC that does pastels the way that I do pastels. That I'm aware
okay.
of.
Okay. If you I mean you got trained by someone outside and then you brought it in, so that's awesome. And then you can make a new market for that. So so when you are making art, is it always through having a model or a picture, or can you make one out on the top of your head?
No, and so the way that I explain this is there's creators and there's recreators.
Oh, okay.
Creators are those people that you see where they're like, oh my gosh, I've seen this video game character. I'm going to do some digital art. And they just like poop it out. And you're like, holy cow, that's amazing. That's a creator. A
Okay.
recreator is somebody like me who can take multiple different reference photos and use those and make one picture.
So it is cool though that when you said that you can make multiple. I mean, I remember it's when you said recreator, I'm a little bit of a better recreator in the fact that I can take one. There's times where I've taken one photo and I've just been able to draw it out, but it's just one photo and it's not complicated and it's still not good. So the fact that you can, it's not good. I showed when I was back home just recently. I was showing I was showing my best friend Lauren some of the artwork sketches that I did, which was so bad, and she was just like, "Oh, they're good," and I'm like, "Oh, thank you for lying. Oh, thank you for lying." But it's
the joke that I wanted to enter into at that moment is when you're talking about the nice big scenery and everything like that. Be like, who put that dog in there? That's a horse.
That's a horse. Oh yeah, that dog. It was based on my dog.
That's a dog. That's a dog.
That's amazing. Oh yeah, no, it's true. But so it's interesting that you can take multiple and then put it into one. That's really cool.
Well, if you think about it, so a lot of the times when I get a pet portrait, it's a deceased pet. So no longer there, right? But they happen to have multiple photos of that dog in different lighting, different aspects, all that stuff. So I have to use multiple pictures to be like, all right, okay, so I see this is there. This is an important part. I put that into that. And I kind of like pick and knit and then, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way I could describe it.
And then, just to make sure you got like the best angle and how you want to do it. So do you have, what is your favorite model to use? Like, do you prefer to draw pets or humans or?
Well, that's hard. See,
cartoon characters?
You get me right where it feels. I've been doing wildlife now since 2014. And I really like big cats, but now doing streaming and everything like that, I like doing the wildlife and everything like that. It was more kind of like that bridge because that's what everybody wants me to do.
Okay.
It makes money, right? The pet portraits help keep the bills being paid and everything like that. It helps keep like a money flow incoming.
True. Yeah.
But I did a video game piece a few weeks ago, and I quite liked it, and I'm planning my next one.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know the character because I don't. You said from Apex Legends.
Yeah, it's Wraith.
That is such a beautiful picture, and I'm like, when I saw it, I'm like, of course, because I don't know Apex Legends, but I know Mass Effect. So I'm like, is this like a cross between Mass Effect, like that? She looked like she was powered up and like jumping, and I was like, what is this from? And then you told me, I'm like, oh, okay. I think that was a really cool photo because it's also like, like I mean, all of your photos, I mean, not photos, but your pictures, they come alive in a way, like, but that one especially because it's like she was moving at the same time. It's like, it almost is like you could see her moving into the next frame with that, like, next picture with that. It was so amazing.
And of course, when you're doing like wildlife stuff in that, like you can't use neon colors. And in that piece, I got to use all these fun new neon colors and everything like that. And I'm like, oh, this is nice.
I think you should do more of those. That was a really good photo. I keep saying photo, picture that you were doing. and the wildlife is so beautiful too because, you know, I guess we were always the type of people who loved pictures like that. Well, you know, I went back to my parents' place and they still have the old photos, and almost all of them are, you know, not even human. They're just photos of nature
majestic animals.
Exactly, or animals that we'd see. I love eagles. I don't know why, I just love eagles so much. I've had experience with eagles. There's once when, I think it was because once when I was, this is kind of a random story, but I love tangents. I don't just, I don't know if you're going to follow me on this, but I was with my dog once, and we were in a backfield where, you know, it was a field where a lot of wildlife come, and there was an eagle that was sitting just on the ground. It was kind of weird, but he was just sitting on the ground, and he was huge. I just remember how huge he was. And then he moved, and he flew, and his wingspan, and I felt the I don't know why. I wasn't gonna like try and touch him, but I was kind of walking like kind of like closer to him in a little way, like, oh, you know, oh, hi. But so he flew, and I felt the air from his wingspan.
Wow.
It was crazy. And I'm like, for some reason that really spoke to me. And I just remember ever since then I've gotten pictures and photographs from artists from him, from eagles, and I've gotten, I just love them so much. I think that's, like, a lot of people have like their obsession that their animal that they love to, you know, collect. That would be mine, eagle, for sure.
I don't really know what mine is really classified as. I have a lot of I'm really obsessed with Japanese pop culture. So like my pillow's a ramen bowl.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, you know, but I love big cats. Like, big cats for sure. Snow leopards are probably my favorite one. I've had a snow leopard piece that has sat incomplete since 2000 and probably 19. And I haven't felt the inspiration yet to go back to it, so it sits on top of my bookshelf, just chilling. Okay.
I mean, yeah, it'll always be there. It'll be there until you're ready to do it. That's really cool. Big cats are awesome. I love big cats. They're just so cool.
They're so fluffy.
I think my favorite one would be, it's really hard because I kind of like them all, but I used to be so cat obsessed when I was little. Like, it was just, I would just like love, you know, spend time reading about them. But I think my favorite would probably be, it changes, but I think it's still a lion, and just the fact that how they work together still and have that community. I mean, it's a hard life for sure, but I mean, at least you have that companionship for a little bit, however long their life would be.
Yeah, sometimes the nature of geography movies make it really sad.
Yeah, it's a hard life. Yeah, exactly. Um, so with the artwork, what do you do normally once it's completed from your Twitch? Like, are they always commissions that you do? Do you send them to auction? Do you?
Well, actually, I'm because I just hit full time now. That's actually a big part that I kind of have to decide what I want to do now. Because generally, yeah, I would do an art stream only if I had a commission. So the Wraith piece was not a commission, but that piece with the hours and the work, and then if I go and get it framed, is a $2,500 piece now.
Wow. Wow.
So to find somebody that's just like, yeah, I think I'll buy this art piece for $2,500, it's a little hard. Not that it's not worth it. It's just, in this day and age, who has $2,500 just lying around for a piece of artwork, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I see where you're coming from.
I think I might end up running out of space. And somebody suggested to me that I do put it on auction.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like them. So, I'm okay with having them. I think what'll end up happening, because I just painted this room, and a lot of it is just black, empty walls. I have a lot of space for a lot of good pictures, I bet.
You do. Wow, that would be a cool idea, and like collage behind you.
Yeah,
But
and that way when I'm streaming, people could see the artwork in behind me and be like, hey, what are those pictures? And I'd be like, let me show you.
Exactly. But you could also, I mean, if you wanted to, what about doing like an art show? You could, when some people have like a bunch of artwork and they bring all the stuff. My friends did that in Montreal, and it was, it even for, I don't know how to describe it, but basically, even if the person themselves isn't like rich, or everything about art just seems so high class, and it was just like, we were just like, oh, this is my friend's art show, and it was just amazing. Right. And and I just love that you are great at it. You are great, but it's just like anytime you have an art show, it's just automatically everyone's like, this is, you even look better. You know what I mean? Like, you don't look like amateur anymore. You're like, oh my God, this person's official. And like, I've been official for several years now. I've been working on this for several years. But to them, they're like, oh, this is a new person. This is, so I think that would be a good idea if you wanted to later on.
I've done a couple art shows, like back in the past I have. Now that I've got a kid, and he's getting quite rambunctious, it was quite hard packing everything up. That was the big thing. And now I've got dogs, too, and they're home with me all the time. When I got the dogs, they went to work with me. So, I can't just really leave them home, because they're like, the world is our enemy, right? So I can't just leave them home. But I used to have the whole setup. I had the tent, I had the metal mesh walls, everything like that. And I would go to the art shows and I would hang my artwork.
Mm-hmm.
But it is so much work to transport chalk original paintings.
Okay.
They are framed, and if you bump them...
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is just chalk. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So you have to be really careful with it. And I just don't think I'm ready for that again, So I've just kind of been slowly just abiding my time. I get invited, I would be really cool to do an art show that is video game related again. That's back when I first started doing art professionally again. I was quite obsessed still with doing the pop culture, different kinds of things and everything like that, video games.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're getting started and you just drawing whatever you want.
Yeah.
I think where I'm at now is if I were to get maybe another 25 pieces and go to an art show, I think that would be good, but I'm a long ways off having another 25 art pieces of my own to bring.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, even that's true. So even during this time, you'd be storing them, and yeah, I think that might be an option for you. But you can also choose. It's just if you have a new picture that you've done and you love it, you don't want to give it away, you can just be like, oh no, that's not in the pile. I like that you have the choice.
Yeah. Well, and it was nice too with the Wraith picture because I actually did it for a giveaway, not the original. So I'm keeping the original, but that was what we were doing on my stream for that Wraith piece. Is we were doing it for a giveaway that somebody in chat is actually going to win it, and so somebody did. So it's actually in the town next over, being turned into a canvas, and then I'm going to
Okay.
mail that canvas out to them because they won it.
Oh, okay. And so it was a prize, but are you paying for everything regarding sending it and
Yep.
making it a canvas? Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
nice.
That person should not have to pay for anything if they won that thing. I'm a firm believer that if you win something, it's free.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's fair. Wow, that's really cool that you have that plan. So and does there, when you have a commission for a typical drawing, do you have a set price or is it flexible?
If it's a piece that I've done, I can be flexible on it. If it's a commission, no. So like I have prices based on size and what you want, whether it's a portrait or a full background piece.
Mhm.
And then it gets to be a little bit more intricate. If you want something that's like a custom size, then obviously it goes into where it can be a different price for that. But generally, I'll be a little bit lenient when it comes to my originals, just because if I've had them for a long time, then if it's time and somebody feels like they love the piece and they want it, then I'll knock a little bit off. But I don't want to devalue myself being the artist, right? Like you have to be. It's a really careful thing you got to get into there. You're like, no discount.
Yeah, yeah. You want to sell it, but then you do want to get your value out of it, what you put into it. So,
Yeah.
what is the commission cost for the just normal drawing of a pet or loved one?
So I don't have any in here right now, but if you were to do like an 8x10, which is my smallest size, and just do a portrait, so just the face, maybe down to the shoulders with no background, it's about $350.
350. 8x10 is your smallest?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a pretty big size, then.
It's a good size. It's the most common portrait size that I actually end up selling, just because it's not small and it's not big, but 350 seems to be that comfortable number that everybody's willing to pay for a customized portrait. So
Mm-hmm.
my husband tells
That
me I
makes
need
sense.
to increase my prices, and I'm like, no.
Well, I mean, the benefit was just obviously that you get the money at the time, but yeah, you are right. How many people would want to come back or be interested if they saw the price, if not, at the 350 that you said. So yeah, that is a delicate balance for sure. What is your most memorable painting?
That's probably the $10,000 snow leopard. Oh no. Okay, wait, no, there was another leopard. Oh, and it just hurts my soul to tell this story. It's not memorable in a good way. So there's two stories for that. So there's the snow leopard that I did with Eric. And so it's this huge, it's like an 18 by 24 fully framed out in my living room. It's a snow leopard in the mountains with like the mountain smoke and everything coming off. I helped paint it. I helped do some of the
Wow.
rocks in that picture. And so I brought that back from England and it sits in my living room. I'll never sell it. That is mine. I'll hand it down to my bloodline. There's this one piece and it haunts me to this day. It was once again, a leopard, just a regular leopard. And it was crawling forward like this out through the picture.
Okay.
And it was a 9 by 12, so just a slightly longer one. A friend of mine who sent me the reference photo, because she does go to the zoos in America. I love her pictures. She's generally who I use for my reference photos. She said that the zoo was interested in purchasing the piece because it was from one of their animals. So I was like, okay,
Oh, wow.
that'd be pretty cool. I really liked the piece. And she said, okay, let me get back to you in a couple days for what they want to pay for it. So I was like, okay, sweet. Couple days goes by and I'm like, hey, anything heard back yet? She's like, no, I have not heard anything back, blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks goes by. Hey, were they interested at all? I don't really know. I really like this piece. I don't know if I should selling it. What are they offering? She's like, hey, still haven't heard anything back. Just about a month goes by and I'm like, girl. I'm like, are they interested in buying it?
Or the interest
I
or
don't know what's
not.
going on here. Like, did you tease me? She's like, hey, she's like, so still haven't heard anything back from it. She's like, sorry, I don't really know what's going on. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm like, just for shigs and giggles, I put it up on my Facebook page, and I'm like, okay, guys, like, listen, I'm like, you guys know I love this piece. I'm going to list it for sale, and I put a ridiculous price on it. 2 minutes later, a lady messages me. She's like, listen, Brianna, she's like, I have been eyeballing this one piece of yours now, and I have been waiting for you to list it for sale. I want it. I will pay the $2,500 for this 9x12 picture. Will you accept e-transfer?
What? Oh,
I'm like,
that's awesome.
absolutely. But I loved that piece though. So when I framed it, I loved it. I can't even tell you how gorgeous this piece was. Oh my God. It's the piece that I think about to this day where I was like, maybe I shouldn't have sold it. But the next day, the zoo gets back to my friend.
Oh no.
Mrs. Stephanie, please let Brianna know that we would love to purchase this piece for $5,000 US.
Oh.
It was great. It was great. So I get sad about it, but at the same time, I know the picture went off to somebody who really wanted it.
Yeah. She was following and wanted it on sale.
Yeah, she wanted it so bad. So like I'm not upset, but I'm a little bit upset.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The only thing that would be like, well, come on, Zoo, you got it. I mean, for them, it would have been really nice to have that picture, in what they wanted, but you gotta move.
Well, and that's exactly it, right? Like, and I'd already been like, okay, yep, I agree, 100%. Took the money. I can't go back and be like, hey, so I actually just got offered this. Can you up the price? I can't do that, obviously. That's bad.
Yeah, no, it's they're bad. I wish they got it, but don't sweat it. And I mean, you make so many paintings. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I can't even like even when you were saying that you are busy with chat on a stream, like, how can you focus in and multitask and be able to like if I'm writing, I need like quiet. I mean, I guess if I put my headphones on if there's stuff around me, or if I'm doing a map, I need like absolute quiet. Like, so I don't know how you have people like talking to you, saying your name, if they have to pay for the sound alerts, like like how do you
My
do
world
this?
is chaos.
And then and how do you still make them nice? Like that's you don't mess up. How do you not? Why did you talk to me this second when I'm doing this most intricate eye? Like how do you do that? How do you still make good paintings?
I've been scared a couple times. So I have follower alerts too. So if somebody decides to follow me midstream, a sound will play. And if people like just sub regularly and stuff like that, right? Like a sound alert will play. So some of my streams, if you do end up watching them, you'll see that I'm like, oh my God. And it is, but I've trained myself to keep my hands still. So you'll notice my body reaction, and it has taken so long to do this, but my body reaction is to go like this. But when I have my hand on a board, I'm not moving my hand. I just go, right? And my body pulses, but not my hand.
Okay, I have seen that, but I thought like something else, like because the camera was just pointed down at the picture. I saw that, but I thought, oh, she's just something else is happening, or like she's built water or something. And but that's what you're doing. You're actually like,
I'm being spooked.
Wow. But no, the fact that you can still like, oh, and then you just continue on. That's crazy. That's
That's mom life, man. I battle a 4-year-old, a 2 dog, and a man child. Like,
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go. Maybe it's like multitasking, and then you're like, well, this is what I do, so I
this
know
is
it.
my life now.
Exactly.